Hey, Alexa for Urban News, and I'm currently in St. Catherine Street in Montreal. And today, I wanted to gather the opinion of the people about what is going on right now with the conflicts between Israel and Hamas. So, every weekend in Montreal, we see massive protests taking the streets. And we witnessed some hate speech, vandalism, and so I wanted to know what the people think about that situation, if they support what the anti-Israel activists are doing by blocking critical infrastructure and some events, and also why external conflicts that have nothing to do with Canada take as much space as that here. So let's check it out. Let's hear the people here in Montreal.
Je préfère pas me prononcer sur le sujet. C'est un sujet que je préfère éviter en ce moment.
What is your opinion on the significant presence of anti-Israel sympathizers dominating the street every weekend? Do you believe that the police and the government should take extra measures?
I truly believe that in today's society and today's new revelation, we need to be united, love each one.
To some people, it makes sense that some people will fight back. Hamas is more than fighting back. It's a terrorist organization. But the word terrorism has been manipulated a lot over the last 20 years. So there's no excuse for the attack of October 7th. And there's no excuse for trying to wipe out everyone that lives in Gaza. Mm-hmm. So
the protests are kept as kind of expression for solidarity with all the civilian casualties that are going on in Gaza, not so much as an anti-Jewish thing or maybe a pro-something over Jewish, but more that it's a pro-human survival, pro-human life. And I'm fine with it if it's kept with that tone.
Mm-hmm. I think the government should definitely be making sure that hate speech and vandalism doesn't occur. But I think the freedom of speech is still a part of our Constitution, so people should have the right to protest, talk about whatever issues that they feel about. So the moment the government starts restricting protests, I don't think that would be a good day for Canadians.
But it seems like most of the people feel like they have to take a side, when I don't understand that, because it's a problem for all of us, and we need to together figure out a solution.
Honnêtement, j'essaie de pas avoir vraiment d'opinion genre sur c'est qui les méchants, c'est qui les bons. C'est sûr quand on voit beaucoup d'affaires contre l'Israël, ça porte plus à penser que ce serait eux les méchants, mais
I don't support all those kind of things in the matter of the government needs to do what they need to do. In the matter of protest and vandalism, I think they shouldn't do it. But also, I think that probably if they don't do it, they won't be heard.
Yeah.
Do you support what the activists for anti-Israel are doing, blocking critical infrastructure, disturbing events, closing some event?
I think it, again, depends. I don't think necessarily a blanket response towards anything linked with Israel by kind of shutting down or taking action like that is necessarily the most effective. But I do think that in the case that one's directly concerned about maybe what the Israeli government, I would kind of mirror the same statement if one was concerned about the actions of Hamas, then one protested directly towards something by blocking access or something towards something that was directly linked to that. I think that could be seen as a reasonable step.
I don't support either side.
Non, je suis pas d'accord avec ça. Je pense qu'il y a d'autres façons de faire la proteste. Il y a des endroits plutôt plus éloignés.
So I don't think I can say that they're doing something wrong because it means something to them, and just because I'm not affected by it, I can't say that what they're doing is wrong.
Ça, je supporte pas, là. Quand même, on doit continuer à fonctionner malgré les opinions de chacun.
Well, they're on the right to protest, but maybe they shouldn't do like riots or destroy like private property, because let's say that if they destroy some kind of business, the business owners, it doesn't have to do anything with it.
And why do you think that external conflict that have nothing to do with Canada is taking as much space as that?
I think us as Canadians, we're in lots of ways like beacons of freedom across the world. So the moment that we stop standing for people's rights in different areas around the world, Canada really won't be Canada anymore, because this has been in our history since we were founded to be, the country that champions freedom.
Parce que ça fait longtemps que ça traîne. Il y a toujours des tensions entre Israël et la Palestine, et c'est malheureux, ils ne sont pas capables de vivre ensemble.
Because there's people from both sides spread out all over the world, and we're visitors to Canada too. So I'm sure there's plenty of descendants, relatives, immigrants from both sides, and so that's why the problem isn't just there. It's spread all over the world now.
It's Hamas versus Palestine. It's becoming to be a case, people like to pit it as like Jews versus Arabs, and so this makes it more of a hot button issue for everybody. And and that's why I think this is kind of getting a little out of hand sometimes even. It's because the fact that people are building it into an issue, not a humanitarian crisis, but let's pit some people against each other.
So it makes sense. We don't pay attention to just what happens in our borders. Canada is one of the countries that promotes multiculturalism and peace around the world. So it should continue to do so.
This conflict is external. There is nothing to do with Canada.
Yeah.
Why do you think it takes as much space as that?
Well, because Canada, I think, is financing it, just like.
But why we didn't see that much protest for the conflicts between Ukraine and Russia?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think that's a new problem, and the Palestine problem is like it's got years and years before.
Si j'étais ailleurs à l'étranger puis je voyais qu'il se passait des trucs comme ça au Québec, je voyais mes gens souffrir, c'est sûr que je démontrerais comment je me sens à propos de ça.
Pourquoi alors le conflit entre l'Ukraine et la Russie n'a pas démontré autant de grosses manifestations?
C'est une bonne question, j'y avais pas pensé. C'est vraiment une bonne question.
I think we did. I think there were lots of protests. I think there were lots of protests when BLM was happening. I think in the last few years, lots of protests have been happening. And just because the Palestinian protests have been happening the last few weeks, I think it's just recency bias that's clouding people's perception.
Well, because I think most people on this side of the Atlantic view Russia as a foe. So there's more maybe organized resistance towards Russia for that reason, yeah.
So it's still the time. If you want to sign our petition to show your support for Israel, you can do so at canadastandwithisrael.com. Sign it massively, share it, and show your support.